All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. All right. And what I want to get into today, is dealing with offenses must come. All right. Offenses must come. And see, now, we get into the part of prophecy, okay, where it's no longer prophecy, but a reality. Okay. Because prophecy is to speak or say before. Well, as we're beginning to live in these times, all right, as we beginning to live in prophecy real time, it's no more prophecy, it's real time. Okay? As Jake say in the world, see, we at the part of the story where the rubber finna meet the road. Okay? And there's a big difference from speaking about these things, okay, and living in it and witnessing these things. Okay? And what we're going to see is a lot of our people that's going to be offended at what the Lord is bringing to the earth, man. A lot of those that know that they're Israelites going to be offended, okay? Because it's a lot of faking, there's a lot of flogging, there's a lot of people that's not sincere. There's a lot of people that, think they're going to fly under the radar. They be offended and think they're going to, be able to mask their offense, fly under the radar and, the people thinking they're going to get to the kingdom and not be tried and not be tested. Nah, man, we all finna be tested, man. Okay, we all finna be tested, man. And if someone is, unsincere and faking the funk and, you know, offended, secretly offended and think they just gonna, go into the kingdom, okay, undetected. Nah, man. That's why the scriptures speak about self-examination, man. Self-examination is vital, especially in these times, man. Okay, we need to be doing that more than ever, speaking to myself first and foremost, man. Really got to have these honest assessments about ourselves to see if we really believe. Okay, really, meditate on the judgment that's coming and see that, hey, is this what we on? Do we agree with this? Okay, are we really on board with this? Okay, and that's for Israelite men and women, because everybody gonna be tried, man. Okay, now when you go here to the book of Matthew, chapter 18, verse 1, it says at the same time the disciples, all right, at the same time came the disciples unto Yahweh saying, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? So they was worrying about, status, because see, everybody wants the status of rulership, but everybody don't want to go through the process. Okay, you got Jake that don't want to see 2/3 get touched. Okay, you got women that don't want to see brothers have more than one woman still crypto feminists. Still secret feminists on the low. Okay, you got that women, okay, that think the woman shouldn't be judged, like Eve out here down bad, Eve and these goddamn kids, and they think that judgment shouldn't come to them, that they still some type of victim. You still got these mindsets in Israel that's gonna be exposed. Okay, see, everybody wants the perks of rulership, but no one wants to go through the process, okay, that the Lord has set out, all right, before the elect be established, okay, as the new Jerusalem in the earth, okay? So you keep reading, and it says, and Yahweh shall call a little child unto him, and set him in the midst of them, and said, verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, you shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. So when you go into the characteristics of a child is open, okay, to new ideas. Okay, and that's why in the truth, we have to be have the mind, okay, of a little child, as far as being open to new perspectives and righteousness, man. Okay, there's a lot of people that know they Israelites and still want to hang on to these old concepts. Okay, So Yahushua letting them know before you even enter into the kingdom, you have to be like a little child. First, you have to humble yourself down. You have to be open to these new ideas and righteousness. These things are new to us, man. Okay? You got people that's in their emotions about certain topics. You still feel some type of way when you hear brothers say particular things or go, you offended, You just sit there and listen like you cool, but you're offended. All that shit finna be exposed. The Lord know how to make a hit dog holler. Okay? The Lord gonna cause things to happen to where, hey, if we offended, we not gonna be able to hide it. Okay? If you're offended in this thing and you're walking around with these secret offenses, you're not gonna be able to hide it as the Lord constantly unravels and opens up in judgment, man. You're gonna see some things on the news. You're finna see some things happen. Hey, you might we're gonna witness some things with our own eyes, man. Pretty soon you're not gonna need the news. Okay? It's gonna be at the doorstep. It's gonna be, as scripture say, 1,000 at thy left, 10,000 at thy right. Okay? So we finna see the Lord open up on Jake, man. Men, women, children, infants, pregnant women, old Jake, handicapped. Hey, the Lord finna open up on Jake, man. That's why you got to really get in the spirit of this book of the Bible. The Bible puts a spirit on us to prepare us for this time. Okay, reading the Bible and really getting into these accounts and how the Lord gets down, it puts in the spirit on us, man. Because reading the Bible is like time traveling, man. And you see, okay, the Lord don't play. And see, we're finna see that real time that the Lord not bullshitting, man. Okay, everybody been playing and pity-patting and think, the 2/3 just gonna get, a slap on the wrist. No, man, the Lord the scriptures say they're gonna dwell in torments, man. Okay, the scriptures say, do it in my hearing. Ezekiel 9:4. Slay early, old, and young, and do it in my hearing. That means the Lord wants to hear Jake scream, man. He wants to hear Jake being judged. He told the angel, do it in my hearing. So he said, I want to hear these niggas, man. Okay? Make the judgment gruesome. I want to hear these niggas, man. Okay? You got to understand the power that you say you believe in. You see? So, reading on, it says, whosoever therefore shall humble himself as a little child, as this little child, the same is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven, man. So as we humble ourselves down, little children just open to new ideas. All right. And another thing, when a child is corrected, a child don't hold grudges, man. Okay. There's a lot of Jakes, a lot of women that heard particular things and they've been offended for years. It's a lot of people that follow other groups knowing that them groups ain't got the goddamn truth. It's like they don't have the truth, man. They don't know what the hell they're talking about, man. You don't know what the hell they teaching. Okay, but you're offended at something that you heard from GMS for years ago. So now, you just attach yourself to anything but GMS. Okay, because majority of the camps, all right, are anti-GMS, which ultimately anti-Yahushua. Okay, so nah, man. If man, let me get this precept. Then we'll go back to that Matthew 18. Because everything, Mark 4:22. Let's get this. Mark 4:22. It says, for there is nothing hid which shall not be manifested, neither was anything kept secret, but that it shall come abroad. So no one's going to be able to hide their offense if they're offended at something. If they don't really agree with something, they believe this and that part, but they really don't believe this and they don't feel, they feel some type of way when brothers go into that. Well, guess what? All that's finna be brought out. It's going to be exposed. Okay? And then you see, as the Lord's getting ready to judge, all right, the niggas on the comment board leaving paragraphs. Y'all hate y'all people. Shut up. Okay? You this hey, you niggas wait and see, man. You people wait and see. Okay? The last thing that Eve finna be worried about is food stamps in the time to come. It's finna get way worse than not having food stamps. Okay? It's finna be way worse, okay, than troops coming to zip tie Jake. and children or whatever. It's finna get way worse than that, man. Okay? The Lord just showing us that he not playing. And instead of being offended, we should be in the spirit, all right, to tap in, pray to be in whatever spirit the Lord wants us to be in, man. Okay, and the Lord gonna have a cold spirit on his men. Okay, there's gonna be a cold spirit on the Lord's men in these days, man. Okay, that Carl Winslow, Uncle Phil spirit, that's not gonna get it. Okay, and these women, the women that believe, they gonna have to get in order in a whole nother level. Okay, this ain't the time as a woman you think, okay, you patting yourself on the back like, okay, I'm better than these hoes out here, I'm on point or nah. This ain't the time to pat yourself on the back. You gonna have to get in order on a whole nother level in the times we coming into, man. Okay? Everybody finna be tried, and the spirit is gonna require more of everybody, man. All right? Speaking to us men first, the Lord is requiring more of a firm spirit, man. Okay? Because we understand what needs to be done. The woman don't know. That's why she has her test is gonna be to follow and trust. Okay? Because the woman don't know what the fuck going on. That's another conclusion we got to come to as men. The woman don't know what the fuck going on, man. Okay? None of them, 100%. When it comes to serious business in the spirit, man. They have a beautiful order. They can be, uh, you know, very complimentary, within the brother's walk. All right? But there's certain decisions, certain mindsets that they can't tap into. We got to tap into that. Okay? And they need to ride that wave. Okay? So going back here, let's go back to Matthew 18 and 5. And it says, whosoever shall receive one such little child in my name, receiveth me. Okay? And see, there's a certain reverence, okay, that the Lord requires, for his men. You see? Because, a lot of people, they come and they just, they still don't have a reverence for brothers, but they appreciate, they just come and get this information because they know, okay, they on point. It ain't even appreciation. It's just a thing, okay, this makes the most sense. Okay, but they really don't have a reverence for brothers like that. Especially if a brother ain't, got all these views and followings and comments. It's only certain brothers that they reverence. They really don't see the value of every brother that's out here pushing his word, man. Whether they got 10,000 subscribers or 300 subscribers, man. And at the end of the day, even with these subscribers, most of these people that watch are full of shit. It's only a small percentage that sincerely believe, that subscribe to these channels, man. Okay? So none of this shit mean nothing anyway. Okay? You see? So at the end of the day, all right, everyone's gonna be tried to see if we're really down. See, we're finna see if we really believe. The Lord finna crank this thing up to see, okay, are they down? I'm about to turn this shit up a notch, and I want to see if they down. Okay? And guess what? When you keep reading this, it says, verse 6 said, but whosoever shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it was better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea, man, which is going to be horrific judgment, man. Okay? And see, Jake think they can say anything and do anything because they still just look at the men teaching these words as just, niggas that know a few precepts. There's really no reverence. And this ain't about, no, kissing our ass or, because we ain't asking for nothing. We're not trying to push ourselves and, we haven't made the ministry about pushing us or trying to build, YouTube celebrity status. Okay, it's not about that, man. It's about a reverence, man. Like, you look at brothers out there teaching, man, it's a certain reverence, man. Brothers out there consistently, man, sacrificing their freedom and life to push this, man. There's a certain reverence, man. Okay, it ain't about the views, man. The fact that the brother got the spirit to go out there and do this, man, consistently teaching the right doctrine, man. There's a certain reverence, that's supposed to be had, man. Okay? But nah, man, the Lord gonna see. Because at the end of the day, you don't know what you see, for you women, you don't know what brother the Lord's gonna have you have to submit to be delivered. You women finna be tried, man. A lot of you women full of shit, and you women finna be tried. You know? Everybody finna be tried. We finna be tried. Everybody finna be tried to see what we about, man. Okay? Ain't no getting around it. Okay? And that's why when we examine ourselves, it's best to be honest with ourselves and pray for those in those areas that we like, damn. Because the Lord will show us something and expose something in us, and he be like, damn, I ain't know I was, I need to be aware of that. You see? I got to watch that. So keep reading. It says, woe unto the world because of offenses, for it must needs be that offenses must come. But woe to that man by whom the offense cometh. So offenses are a must. And the Lord is going to cause things to happen that your offense is going to overwhelm you, man. You're not going to be able to hide it. Okay? And it's going to cause you to be offended to the point of being overthrown. Okay, so Yahweh Shai is extremely crafty by causing certain events, certain things to be said, certain things to play out to where you just offended, okay, to the point that you can be overwhelmed, man. And I pray that I'm not offended like that, man. Me personally, I pray that I say, Lord, all the time not to be offended like that. We in the truth, man, and things rub you the wrong way, and we're around brothers and different personalities, and it's like, then you gotta remember, like, hey, if this the man of the Lord, man, like, nah, man, I gotta check myself. I could be wrong, I could be off. I pray to be blameless, amongst the brotherhood, teaching this doctrine, man. I pray to be blameless, man. Because one thing I need mercy, man, and that's why, my mindset is always leave room for mercy. Okay, it's a balance, because it's a time for judgment to go out as well. But it's that mindset of mercy, understanding that we need mercy. Okay? And see, we in the time mercy is running out and judgment finna settle in, man. If you still got some type of attachment to these niggas out here, man, 2/3, it's gonna show. The Lord finna rev it up, and it's gonna show. Okay? If you feel sorry for the nigga woman and her situation and her children and all that shit, them little monsters, it's gonna show. The Lord gonna do some things, and you're gonna be offended to the point of no recovery. Okay? Now it's time to get the fuck out of here, man. It's time to go back home, man. It's time to stop pity-patting with this shit. The Lord done pity-patting with this shit, man. Okay? We're not trying to figure out, all right, case by case, what's going on with the nigga woman and them children, or each nigga, or each neighborhood. We way past that, man. All right? The Lord finna send Esau through that bitch to lay everything down. There's not a the elect. Okay? One thing we know for sure, the elect gonna be all right. Okay? The Lord ain't just randomly. No, man. Hey, the elect in the 2/3, and the Lord's finna show through judgment and mercy, man. Okay? But like I said, if you're offended now, shit, you don't stand a chance. Like old Jake told me, if you can't add, it's a great chance you can't multiply, man. This is light work, what's going on. Okay, and the Lord is doing these things gradually to show us what he at with it. Okay, and then the worst reaction you can have is having some soft spot for niggas, man. Or the nigga woman or her situation, man. And then you're not being spiritual, you're not thinking like an immortal. All of them gonna come back eventually. Okay, and we all gonna be in rulership. They gonna come back in a much better situation, man. All right, but there's a majority of our people that are enemies, okay, to the throne of Yahweh Shai. Okay, they wake up every day and choose Baal. Satan and choose Barabbas. Okay? We have to understand these things. You have to be in the spirit. Okay? See, you gotta think like an immortal. All right? Mortal thoughts, that's a weak nature. Okay? Let's go here. I think that's 2 Corinthians. Now 1 Corinthians 2. Yep, this is 1 Corinthians 2 and 11 says, for the man, it said, for what man knoweth the things of man, say the spirit of man which is in him. Even so, the things of the Most High knoweth no man but the spirit of the Most High. So people without the spirit, they can't see from my perspective. Okay, they gonna be offended. They gonna think that Jake is some type of victim when the Lord starts judging them. They gonna think the nigga woman and the children is some type of victim as the Lord get ready to judge them, because they don't have the spirit of the Most High. Part of the spirit of the Most High is the spirit of judgment or righteous judgment. Okay, and see, the common man doesn't have this. The spiritual man see exactly for what it is. Okay, and the spirit of the Most High is not a mortal spirit, it's an immortal spirit. Okay, so we're not so caught up in all in our emotions about the moment. We understand how these things work in our favor for the immortal, for immortality, man, for eternity, man. Okay, so the Lord has put his spirit on his men. Okay, so we see things how he sees things, man. Okay, not just a group of niggas at the barbershop or a group of niggas on TikTok complaining, you know. Nah, man, we see this thing through different lenses, man. Okay, and it only gets worse, man. Okay, the Lord finna rev up, all right, and pray to be in the right spirit, man. You know, speaking to myself first and foremost, pray to be in the right spirit. Pray to have a cold spirit for these times, man. Okay, we going into a different season, and it requires a different mentality, a different mindset, you know, towards how we view things, man. So that's the point, you know, Lord will, you brothers. All right, and you sisters edified. Till next time I say shalom. Kwame Yashala, a Bible ball soon. Shalom.